Today, we're talking about dangerous clowns. Some killers, some not, but still very, very dangerous. First up, we have the 1990 death of Marlene Warren. On March 26, 1990, Marlene Warren answered her door and was met with a bullet to the face from a .38 caliber revolver. Her last words were, "Oh, how pretty." This was response to the clown holding red and white carnations and balloons. Joey Aarons, Marlene's son, was 21 at the time, heard the gunshot and ran to his mother's aid. He caught her as she collapsed to the floor. Due to the heavy clown makeup, Joey was not able to identify his mother's killer. But what he does remember is the clown's eyes. He said that he would never forget those deep brown eyes. Marley died at the hospital 2 days later at the West Palm Hospital in Florida. The killer then sauntered away and drove off in a white Chrysler LeBaron with no license plates. Police started an investigation, and the only person that they suspected was a woman named Sheila Keene Warren. That's right, if the hyphenated name means anything, you see where I'm headed with this. Sheila is not any relation to Marlene, but she is to Marlene's husband, Michael. Sheila started off as Michael's side piece when she was hired to work at the Warrens' used car dealership. Sheila had been working for the Warrens for 5 months before Marlene was murdered. It's also suspected that they may have had this relationship during the entire time. Police suspected Sheila of Marlene's murder because Sheila lived a half a mile away from the store where the balloons were sold, and these were the balloons left at the crime scene. Now, these balloons were a special type of balloons. They were called Mylar balloons, and these balloons were only sold at a Publix that was located at the corner of Community Drive and Military Trail in West Palm Beach. The white LeBaron was found in a Winn-Dixie parking lot 4 days after the shooting. The gun was never recovered. There were rumors of Michael and Sheila having an affair, even though both of them were married. That's right, Sheila was married and her husband worked for Michael Warren as well. Sheila and Michael married in 2002, 12 years after the shooting. Also, Michael was acting very, very sketchy. And the reason why I say that is because there was a lawyer at the time when they were talking to the investigators. This lawyer said that Michael asked him if a husband can inherit his wife's share of property if he was an accessory to a murder. Also, he asked if he can inherit his wife's property if he had killed his wife. So this is very weird behavior to ask. But moving forward, in 2013, investigators ran DNA tests on the hair fibers found in the white Chrysler LeBaron and also in Sheila's apartment. Now, these things were left over from the investigation because after Michael and Sheila married, they moved to Virginia. It took 3 years to get the results back from these samples, and they tested positive. Both hair from the LeBaron and hair from the apartment that Sheila used to live in both matched. Sheila was arrested in the state of Virginia in 2017. Now, there hasn't been a conviction yet, and the trial is still ongoing, and that's because it's been canceled 7 times due to the fact that investigators can no longer find the witnesses. So, that's it for that one. Former police officer Amon Paul Carlock died in police custody during his stint in Sangamon County Jail for possessing explicit images of children and going abroad to diddle children. He died 39 days after he was booked in the county jail. He's on the Dangerous Clown series because he frequently volunteered the services of his alter Klutzo the Clown to charities and children's homes. In June 2007, when he returned from the Philippines, he was questioned by Immigration and Customs at the San Francisco International Airport. Federal agents found pics of boys on his computers and stuff. On September 28, 2007, the FBI issued a search warrant to search Carlock's home. 5 days after the warrant, Carlock's wife filed for divorce. Carlock was then arrested and jailed. While in jail, he lost nearly 20 pounds in less than a month. He also started acting erratically. There was an incident at the jail where Carlock started acting up, and the guards had to tase him 3 times. It became a free-for-all, and Carlock managed to get his hands on the canister of pepper spray of one of the guards, and he discharged it in the melee. Like, it went down. On November 15th, 2007, the day before Carlock died, there was another altercation between Carlock and the guards. Carlock was taken to see Lucy Ramsey, who was a nurse practitioner for the jail. Carlock then started punching the walls and the doors, and the guards had to come in to try to restrain him. They attempted to tase him, but that didn't work. And then Carlock also kicked one of the guards in the groin. He threatened Ramsey with his fist, and when the guards went in to restrain him again, he got down on the floor and shit himself. One of the guards got tired of his shit and just laid down on Carlock's shoulders, and after a few minutes, Carlock stopped moving. And when they checked on him, he was dead. Carlock's family is suing the county jail for wrongful death. Martin Everett was the drummer of the death metal band, The Core of Your Nightmares. On-stage persona was Vlad the Clown. In March and April of 2012, when Martin was 30, he had sex with a 17-year-old girl, who is only identified as TM. Martin took pictures of himself with TM and kept those pictures on his phone. He also gave TM a few of those pictures, which will come back to bite him in the ass. In April of 2012, TM's mother got in touch with the Collinsville Police Department alleging that Martin assaulted her daughter when she was 16. TM gave video testimony of her identifying both her and Martin in the pictures. So this dude was so screwed. He shouldn't have did what he did, though. In October, Martin was arrested, arraigned, and held without bail. After hearing the news, another girl came forward. She's not identified because she was 14 at the time. Martin was not charged for any assault on this girl, but her testimony was used at his sentencing. He pled guilty and was sentenced to 19 years in prison. When he is released, he would be forced to be on 20 years of supervised parole. He'll have to register on the offenders registry, pay a $2,000 fine and a $100 fee. While he may not be a killer clown, this fucker is definitely dangerous. Next on our list is the notorious serial killer, John Wayne Gacy. I'm not going to go into great detail about him because we all know who he is. Gacy raped, tortured, and killed 33 men and boys. His clown alter was named Pogo the Clown, and Gacy would frequently lend Pogo services to charity events, children's hospitals, and he just would pretend to be an all-around good guy. But deep down, he was a sick, twisted, and sinister motherfucker. He buried 26 of his 33 victims in the crawl space of his house. His victims included people that he knew, people that he managed to lure in from the Greyhound bus station, churches, anywhere he can get them. But what was really crazy is that he would store the victims' bodies under his bed for up to 24 hours. Then he would move them to the crawl space, where he would periodically pour quicklime to hasten their decomposition. Some bodies were taken to the garage and embalmed prior to their burial. Thank God this man was caught. He was apprehended November 21st, 1978, and executed by lethal injection on May 10th, 1994. It's just sick how this man lived a normal life with a wife and 2 children. He was also married twice, and he managed to fool 2 women into marrying him, even though he preferred the company of males. But you never know with people. Our final dangerous clown is a child entertainer from Sydney, Nova Scotia. Sentenced to 2 years in prison for assaulting a 15-year-old girl, Dan Rancourt pleaded guilty to sexual assault and breaching a court order. Rancourt started a relationship with an unidentified 15-year-old girl in 2016 and began living with her for the duration of 1 month, a month after the illegal courtship started. At the trial, the unidentified girl gave a victim impact statement explaining how the relationship affected her mentally and physically. Rancourt admitted to lying to the girl and telling her that they were in love and that he really wanted to be with her. So he gassed her head up and he gave her a bunch of sweet nothings that he did not intend to follow through with, and he knew that he couldn't follow through with because she's a minor. He has served his 2 years in prison, and was placed on 24 months of supervised probation, and he must be on the offenders registry for 20 years. He also isn't allowed to have any firearms, be around anyone under the age of 18, submit his DNA to the DNA database registry for offenders, and of course check in with his parole officer. And that's all I got for you. I'm out.